Brian Higgins here now, and we're with the quarterbacks coach and now offensive coordinator, Tim Lester. And Tim, what was that like this week? How did you find out about the job change and what happens going forward?
You know, I got a call from Coach Schaaf on Saturday night. He informed me of changing my role a little bit and what he wanted me to do. And, I went. It was our day off. I went straight to work. We had a lot of work to do, and it's been a whirlwind ever since.
How's that changed the week for you now that obviously game planning is completely under your control here?
I had a portion of the game plan before, so I'm just a lot more involved, which I've enjoyed. Being involved more in the run game and in different types, third downs, which I wasn't involved in before. So, it's having done it for 8 years before, it was comfortable in that right. And the offense is the verbiage a little bit I'm getting comfortable with. I know it, but I need to be able to spit it out fast in order to play and call plays at a good tempo. And it's been better every single day until we got to today.
All right. Over the course of the week, getting ready for this game, how much can change in an offense over the course of the week, and what do you want to change here this week?
I just want to make sure our guys are comfortable. I want to get them in a good rhythm. The biggest thing for us is obviously penalties, and the biggest thing with me is I take a lot of plays out. I'm not going to carry a lot in. I'm going to only carry the things that I feel our guys are comfortable running. I think we can run them at a better pace. I think we'll execute at a higher level that way. And so from the beginning of the week to the end of the week, I always tell the coaches at the end of every practice, I pull out the Sharpie and just start crossing plays out, until we find the ones that we're best at. And we're going to go out there and give it our best with those.
Especially this week where regardless of who's out there, it's going to be a new quarterback. How much is it you want to find the plays that these guys like and feel comfortable with?
That's the most important thing, talking to those guys and figuring out what they like and trying to find things that they all like. So I can carry those throughout all the different game plans, and that's probably the biggest challenge. Is game planning is one thing for a good team, but game planning for, hey, this guy can run these plays, this guy's can't. That was it made a little bit of gymnastics that way, but it was a fun challenge.
You mentioned you've called plays before. You were head coach before at Elmhurst. When was the last time you actually called the plays, and what does it take to get back in that rhythm on game day of spitting those plays out?
I'm hoping quick. I'm hoping quick. Last time I called plays was 2 years ago in a playoff game at Elmhurst College, and I loved it. I did it from the sideline, which was weird for me being a head coach. As a coordinator, I've always been up in the box, which is a lot more comfortable. I struggled for my first year just being comfortable on the field calling them. I'm excited to be back up in the box calling them because you can see a lot more. It's a lot calmer. You can do a lot of research in between drives and stuff like that. So, once you get into a rhythm, you don't even think, and the time flies by. So I'm looking forward to getting back into that rhythm.
I imagine a decision like this, it's not something Coach Schaefer does on a whim or does lightly. How does it affect the staff? I mean, you've known George MacDonald for years and are friends with George MacDonald. How does it affect your relationship here?
Me and George are really close friends. He's probably the closest guy, on staff with me, and we're bluntly honest with one another, and we work great together. We worked great together before, and we've really this week have worked even better together, So, we always love to talk pass game. He sees it from a wide receiver's point of view. I see it from a quarterback's point of view, and we've always had great conversations, and me and him are probably closer than ever to go through adversity like that together, and we're just keep fighting. We all want to win, and that's what we're here for.
All right, let's talk about your guys at the quarterback position, and I'm sure you hoped you would be talking about Terrel Hunt this week, but he's down 4 to 6 weeks. How big of a loss is that when you lose the guy that you've been really getting ready week in, week out for game day?
It hurts, obviously with his ability to run and his experience in the passing game, it really changes, what you can do, because if you make a bad call, he'll get you out of it, And the young kids are doing better and better with their checks at the line of scrimmage, but I'm sure there'll be times where we run plays that we shouldn't be running. We should have checked out of that one. We should have thrown that one out instead of giving it. So that's part of the learning curve, So that's not having him. Now he's in the meeting room. He hasn't changed one bit since he got banged up. So he's been coaching them. Every time I go in there, he's still watching film with the young guys. So he's doing his best to mentor them, which is going to help him stay sharp when he comes back too.
All right, let's hit the guys one by one who we may see either against Florida State or throughout the rest of the season. We saw a little Austin Wilson against Villanova and a few plays last week. Where's he at in his development? How will it be different now that he has really a week to prepare here?
He's a lot calmer since his first time out there. He had a good first drive, and then he struggled as the game went on. He has a rocket for an arm. and he hesitates on his decisions a little bit, like most young guys do and experienced guys, but he can throw it with the best of them. So he's been more and more confident since he got to play. And so he's been looking good this week, and as he gets more comfortable, he starts throwing things on time. His mind works faster, and I hopefully keeps throwing it like he has been.
AJ Long's another guy, a true freshman, yes, but he was here in the spring, which I imagine is big for you. And for a while there in August, he was leading the race to be the backup. How has he emerged? And now that Terrel's down, I imagine the red shirt's not much of a consideration anymore.
No, at this point, it's the best guy that gives us a chance to win, and he's the first one that he wants in there, and he's such a competitive kid. He knows the offense. He studies it harder than anybody, and he's great with his feet. And throwing the ball, he's not great. He's pretty good at it though, and he's better. He's a guy that's better when the lights are on. He's a guy, we go through individual drills and he looks okay. But man, when we get in team, I mean, he's a whole different guy. He loves the competition. And that should bode well for when he gets his chance.
And door number 3 is Mitch Kimble. He was sort of leading the backup race back in the spring. What would he bring as an option for you?
He has a little bit of both. He can throw it great, and he's really athletic, extremely intelligent. His big thing is just he needs to get a chance to get out there. He has to make good decisions when the lights are on. He's one of those guys in drills that looks like Elway arm. And then on the field, at least in camp, and we're starting to see him more this week. I haven't seen him in a while, but where he wasn't able to process as fast out there. Although every test I've given the quarterbacks, he gets 100%. He's the highest graded quarterback on a test. But so yeah, they all bring different things to the table, and it'll be fun to watch them out there.
All right, and last question here, which may be the hardest question. How does this all come together against, number 1, the defending national champs and Florida State as the first time out with this grouping?
Yeah, I truly believe it's about us. We have not been executing to the level that we can execute. And all the coaches know it, and everybody knows it. And once you get to the point where you're executing well, you really start focusing a ton on who you're playing and how they play, and maybe making a little adjustments to the things that you do. But when you're not executing well, you go back to what are we doing? Let's make sure we are executing things right. And that's the biggest thing, is if our guys know where they're going and can be aggressive doing it and don't have to overthink things, then we got a chance against anybody. And that's where we're at now. If we were at a different level, we'd probably approach the game differently. But we're really just focused on us and trying to get better performances on a Saturday than we've been given.
All right, Tim, new role for you. Good luck in it, and we'll see you out there on Saturday.
I appreciate it.